This is a message to the American people, freedom fighters, constitutionalists, sheepdogs, anybody who likes freedom, good-hearted, wholesome American people. If you didn't know, we're fighting an invisible war right now, a war for our rights, and it was waged upon us. We did not start this. And more particularly, the most important God-given right of all is the right to defend yourself by any means that you deem necessary. This goes along with the Second Amendment, and they're blatantly attacking it. I'm sure you guys can see, and I hope you can. But this is a very serious matter because the Second Amendment is the one that glues all of the others together, all of our rights from our Creator. And they're attacking it, and nobody seems to really be taking action. So I'm going to open your guys' eyes up to a little bit of their tactics and really what they're trying to do and what the situation really is, not what the media tells you. So I figure since we're talking about this proposed assault weapons ban by Feinstein, we go ahead and figure out exactly what the definition of assault rifle is. If we're going to be changing lies about it, we should probably know, what it's defined as. So I got a couple sites here for you, and we will go ahead and get into it. First one is just Wikipedia. I know it's not the most reliable source, but for most topics it is. So, I just typed in assault rifle, and it says, an assault rifle is a selective fire, either fully automatic or burst capable rifle that uses an intermediate cartridge and a detachable magazine. It is not to be confused with assault weapons. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. It lets you know that it fires an intermediate cartridge, which the media, if you turn on CNN, they try to tell you that it's a high power cartridge and that it's just a super big bag thing, but the people who don't know believe that, and that's the sad thing about that. My own mom told me that, the high power cartridges. I'm like, no. So there is definitely some propaganda activity, people just trying to brainwash you. So I'm the anti-brainwash, I'm the anti-propaganda, and I'm letting you guys know the truth. Everything I'm stating in this video is going to be true, and if I'm not sure of its validity, then I will go ahead and let you guys know that, and I'll be honest, because I actually care for people. I'm standing up for what's right by any risk to me. So let's move on. Looks like the assault rifle became the standard military rifle post World War II, since they developed the technology. It goes on to say a little bit of stuff. The term assault rifle is a translation of the German word Sturmgewehr, or literally storm rifle, or to storm an enemy position, and was indeed coined by Adolf Hitler. So there's a lot of stigma behind it. And, the people who are out of the gun culture hear, gun, and they're already scared, already a little bit offset, and then they hear assault on top of that, and it's like a double dangerous word, and people get worked up. Alright, and then it gives, must be an individual weapon provision to fire from shoulder, must be capable of selective fire. The U.S. Army defines assault rifles as short, compact, selective fire weapons that fire a cartridge, intermediate in power between submachine gun and rifle cartridges. Okay, so, and the media will interchange these words, CNN, Fox News, all the mainstream stuff. They'll play the words interchange between machine gun, and then they'll say call it a Bushmaster next, then an assault rifle, and they get people thinking that it's the same thing. People who don't know really believe this stuff, and it's sickening, really. All the misinformation from supposed to be trusted sources, they're bought and paid for. It's proof that CNN is government funded. So aside from that, now that we know what an assault weapon is, we go to Dianne Feinstein's senator website, or official website, .gov. And this is just like they released an outline of the legislation for 2013 for the assault weapons ban, which really they should just call it what it is. Ban on rifles, or we don't want you to have that type of gun ban, which is really what it is. And, you can look this up for yourself. I'm going to post all the links. You can look through these, but just a couple of the ones that kind of make me a little edgy is the semi-automatic rifles and handguns with the fixed magazine that can accept more than 10 rounds. Alright, and this is to be able to sale, transfer, importation, or manufacturing of. It says they can't even make those no more. And this actually applies to me because I own a Marlin 22 rifle. It looks like a hunting rifle, really. It's not, look like an assault rifle type thing, so they call it one. But it's tubular fed, so it has, a magazine that I can't take off, and it holds more than 10 bullets. I believe it's like 15 or 16, something like that. But that means that's gonna consider that an assault weapon. Which, if you guys don't know much about bullets, 22 is just about the smallest bullet you can get. Like, people use them to kill squirrels, to go rabbit hunting and stuff. So, it's, that being an assault weapon just doesn't really make sense. But the scariest line in this whole thing, and this might not even be the worst of it that they're posting up here, this is just a summary, like I said, is the requires the grandfathered weapons to be registered under the National Firearms Act. Let me take that again. Requires the grandfathered weapons be registered under the National Firearms Act to include, and then, the background check, photograph, fingerprint, serial number, stuff like that, of course. But the registration is the really bad part. Because in history, it's been proven time and time again, even with the most brutal dictators, that they make you register your guns and then they confiscate your guns. It's, a very high chance that confiscation could follow. Alright, so, and also, back to the 10-round thing, I carry a Glock 26, I'm a law-abiding citizen, I have a, carrier's permit, I'm of sound mind, of course, and that serves as a disadvantage, because if you get a criminal who's gonna disobey any law you pass against guns, he's probably gonna be able to, if he can get the rifle, he can probably get the high, the standard capacity mags for it, really is what they are. The media will tell you they're high capacity because they carry like 25, 30 rounds. No, the high capacity mags are like the 100-round drum mags. 20 to 30 rounds is like standard capacity for a rifle like that. So, and that puts you at a severe disadvantage because, well, you have to reload faster, but, blah, 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 just whatever. So, that sucks. And just to go to prove it to you guys, I went to Yahoo, and it was just a Google search that came up, but usually when I see the Yahoo things, for other topics, they're pretty reliable, so I figured for this one it'd be cool. And it says, what are some examples of where gun registration leads to gun confiscation? And I kind of laugh at the response to this. You mean aside from Cuba, China, Russia, and most other totalitarian states? You got New Zealand, Canada, Australia, the UK, Chicago, which actually, if you guys didn't know, Illinois got their concealed carry passed, and they have like 180 days or so to write up the bill, so that's a big win for them. Hopefully you guys be able to do that. Hopefully Chicago will get a little bit better, with the gun crime. I'd like to see that, good people getting the guns for once, so we'll see. And California, they have some really strict laws there. And if you guys didn't know, there's already been confiscation in our country, if you guys haven't heard. I was actually looking up YouTube videos back during Hurricane Katrina, and there's actually videos where guns were confiscated from licensed, registered, legal gun owners during Hurricane Katrina. And maybe that was a beta test, but the videos that I seen were from people that weren't even in the disaster area. They were just from the surrounding area, which maybe they just wanted to see what people would do in that situation when they came knocking on your door or something. But yeah, we should not have that in our country. It shouldn't be like that. But on to the Bill of Rights, the infamous document. This states the rights given to us by our Creator are individual rights. As an individual, they're all individual rights. The Second Amendment is no different. Don't let them misguide you. Anyway, this is what we're fighting for. This is what secures our freedom. To the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Alright, and you gotta understand the time when our founders wrote this, because they just got done doing it. They just got done overthrowing their government, and they used their arms and uprose and took their freedom. And that's the freedom that we have today that is in jeopardy right now. That's why I'm making this video. And, like I said, the Second Amendment is the one that holds all these together. Your freedom of speech, freedom of private property, freedom of privacy, all of that. The guns is really what is the buffer zone between freedom and tyranny, between us and the government. You know, it's their power is really ours, is what I'm trying to say. Their power comes from the people. We let them do this to us. They should be scared of us. Because you have liberty when the government is scared of the people, but you have tyranny when the people are scared of the government. What sounds more familiar these days, honestly. But, yeah, I just kind of want to refine that shall not be infringed. Alright, and if you go and define infringe, is to act so as to limit or undermine something, or encroach on. Okay, and I understand, if we go back to the assault rifle thing, like with grenade launchers and stuff like that, there does need to be a line drawn there. And in order for an assault rifle to be an assault rifle, it has to be selective fire. You have to have burst fire or full auto. The rifles that you can get as a civilian are one shot per trigger pull. That's semi-auto. And in order to get a fully automatic or burst weapon, you have to have a class 2 or 3 tax stamp or be part of the military. Really. So there really already is a ban on assault rifles. Really. But, but there does need to be a line drawn, because there is some stuff that you shouldn't be able to have. You shouldn't be able to acquire because it is military spec. But for general purpose, I don't see why all guns should be 10 rounds or less for civilians. That makes the legal gun carry, the sheepdog who's really out there, every day, that puts them at a disadvantage, and it puts more lives at stake. So, because the law-abiding citizens will abide by that law, but the criminals won't. So, where's the logic in that? And where's the logic that more legislation against guns, making the legal gun owner pay, is going to affect criminals anyway? They already disregard every other law. And no matter what, even if you take all the guns away, evil people are going to find ways to hurt good people. I mean, whether it be a knife, a car, a bomb, a sharpened stick, their bare hands, whatever, it's going to happen. You can't stop that. So what if you give guns to everybody? Well, not everybody. You know what I'm saying. More legal gun ownership of sound-minded people and everything. You would probably get less gun crime. Statistically, that's proven. You can look at Switzerland. They don't have a standing army. They have a citizen army, or like a citizen militia type thing going on. They require all of their citizens to have firearms training. And they have the lowest gun crime rate on the face of the planet. Alright, you look at the UK, where they are so strict on guns, even the police officers don't carry firearms. And they have a lot of evil shit going on down there. So you tell me what the logical thing is. Why is it so hard to come up with a solution to this when it's friggin' obvious? They're beating around the bush, and they're trying to take our rights away. And once the second one falls, the Second Amendment, the rest of them are probably going to follow. It's probably just be a matter of time. We need to fight this. We need to activate. You need to activate and start making a common topic between, your coworkers, your friends, your family. Definitely write your senators or representatives. Even if it's a paragraph just saying, hey, I disapprove of this strongly. Me and my family disapprove of this strongly. It's a hazard to our safety. Just something. You got to do something. Because if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. What would you rather do? Would you rather try and fail and be able to say that you tried? Would you rather try and succeed and be able to say, yeah, I did my part? Or would you rather not try at all and surely fail, and then you have nothing to show for it? You just let it happen. This is the future of your children, your children's children, generations to come. Freedom is a generational thing. And those values haven't really been passed down to us, and we've kind of become complacent, forgot about it. Then we became dependent on government. Even our own government says that we're dependent on them. And once dependence comes in, then comes tyranny. We're dependent. We need them to get by, type of thing. And it's ridiculous. When it comes down to it, everybody runs themselves. Everybody is in charge of their own security. As long as you, of course, old enough or wise enough to understand that. But what I'm trying to say is that it's tyranny. It's an attack on our God-given right, and no man should be able to take that away from us. Government is limited to how they can limit our God-given rights, which is stated in the Bill of Rights. Let's see here. And the good thing about the Second Amendment is the NRA site that I pulled out. If I can see the NRA ILA, site, their official thing, on the Second Amendment. And there's a lot of good talking points here. I only point out a couple of them just to save time. But does the Second Amendment describe an individual right? And that goes to show you, that yeah, it does. Isn't the well-regulated militia that's in the Second Amendment the National Guard? The answer to that is no. Is because the National Guard is under the regular army. So, militia are like the people fighting with their own weapons, or like pitchforks and, whatever they can find. Their own guns. Hopefully they have some still if the government didn't disarm them. So, let's see here. Of course they have, blah, blah, blah. Have gun controls, or have we tried gun control? Should we at least try some gun control, see if it works? We have, and we really have. Illinois and New York have the licensings. And yeah, do crime rates fall as gun laws are passed? The clear answer is no. It's been tested and it's failed. It really has. You can look. It's obvious. The data's out there. So why don't these professionals who know so much about our safety and try to tell us what's good for us when we know ourselves? Why do we let them control us like that? I don't understand. And it just goes to show you. And the media won't report the times when the guns have saved the day. There's been times since the whole Sandy Hook thing that guns have saved the day, but it's not reported. They don't do it on the mainstream news because it doesn't fit their agenda. You see what I'm talking about? It's like a people control type thing. And if you think it can't happen to us, if you think that Nazi Germany can't happen to us, you're dead wrong. Because I bet you they thought that it couldn't happen to them. In history has repeated itself, and it's about to again, and we got to make a stand and fight this. This is just step of one of however many they're going to use to basically enslave us via legislation. It's wild how we let it get this far. Our forefathers would have turned in their graves. Now we've already had like the Civil War and stuff over less. But yeah, we put up with it every day. We need to start like an anti-propaganda campaign or something and just go and point out all their propaganda each day and just, equal it out so then people who want, can actually know the truth. Because that's what I am. I'm a truth seeker. And the truth isn't very, very pretty in this one. So, like I said, this just getting their foot in the door. So what do we do about all of it? And, well, right now is to try to stop this because the real war is just starting. This is pretty much the start of it if this gets passed. So we really need to get out there and start letting this be known, because it is very, very serious. It's dead serious. But so what do we do about all this? Well, you can go and write and all that, try to take the of course, try not to use violence in any way, unless it is necessary. It is necessary sometimes. You have to draw that line. But you shouldn't hasten the day. You shouldn't say, oh, let's do it now. It's a very big decision. It's going to cost many lives. And who knows the outcome of it. Nobody's going to be able to control it. And so you can do that. You can go and write. And if it still does get passed and the Supreme Court doesn't shoot it down, if they take it to the Supreme Court, which if you guys didn't know, the Supreme Court actually is they're officially allowed to give you the translation of the Constitution. They're like telling you what it means style officially. So if they pass an unconstitutional law and then what do you do? Because the Supreme Court is a relatively small group of people, and when you get a bad, relatively small group of people, some really bad legislation can be passed. A good example is the NDAA. It allows President Obama to indefinitely detain anybody he suspects to be a terrorist just based on suspicion. Suspicion. And indefinitely detain you because of that. American citizens included. And I believe it also, you can be executed as well. Not 100% on that one. I should have done my research. Sorry. But I believe, that's part of it as well. And it's just scary stuff because then he can just legally take you, and that's just one of them. That's, among him saying that if he declares martial law, then, he has control over, like, our transportation and our seaports and our food and water and, stuff like that. I forget exactly what executive order that was, but that's an executive order. That comes from the president. That bypasses Congress. And that's pretty much dictatorship right there. If he's just calling the shots and just, screw Congress, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. That's ridiculous. And that shouldn't be happening. So what if you do if taking the legislative way doesn't work, then, well, if in the Supreme Court upheld unconstitutional laws, there's always the option of civil disobedience. Just straight up say disregarding it. Because they say that if a law is unconstitutional, that it's not a law at all. And it doesn't have to be obeyed by the populace, or the courts don't have to, try it, basically. But the thing with that is that the law is in effect and it is executable and a law until the Supreme Court deems it unconstitutional. So if the Supreme Court doesn't deem it unconstitutional, then we're screwed. That's a whole small group of people thing. So you really got to watch out because it's dangerous. No, excuse the dog, sorry. After all, the leader is supposed to be serving with the consent of the people, which they are not, because I do not consent to this assault weapons ban. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't. A lot of, oath keepers, a lot of military, police, civilians. There's a lot of people that are terrorizing. Just look at Fire Armageddon. All these people going out and buying guns. The Fire Armageddon, of course, happened after Sandy Hook. It's when the most firearm sales pretty much ever has been took place. It was like backup. Manufacturers were saying, hey, we, don't have those guns made yet to sell, type of thing. Just bare shelves. But, so people are obviously worried. So it's without the consent of the people. But the brainwashed people obviously consent, the sheep, those, because they don't know any better. They're propagandized. The media tells them that, and they believe that, and I'm trying to show you guys exactly what's up here. If you are one of the masses, if, you gotta see. So, that goes to explain, civil disobedience is an option. Another option would be to gather evidence and, find, arrest, and prosecute that person who committed those acts or those people. And this is obviously violating the Constitution. So, what does that mean? But if they're in lobby with the people who are going to try him anyway and they get off scot-free, then there's no ramifications. We can sit back and do nothing, but then nothing will get done, and they will, do us for sure. So, what do? When do we draw the line in the sand and start fighting for our rights? Because you got to be willing to fight and die for your rights if you want to keep them. Otherwise, they will be taken away from you. And that's what I'm trying to stop right now. That's what we're endangering with this right here. So I'm just trying to, guys, let you know honestly that this is not good. This is not a good direction for our country. If you really want a real solution to all these shootings and all that, armed citizens, armed civilians, people who are sound mind, who can prove that, they're good people, like myself. way less people are killed when civilians there to stop all the horror. Otherwise, you're just gonna, be a victim. You're gonna run away. You're gonna be either shot. You're gonna escape and be like, "Wow, I wish I would have had a gun that day because I could have saved all those lives." If you have a heart, but just don't let them fool you, because they're obviously against us and they're waging this war on us. Like I said, we didn't do this. We didn't do this. We're just trying to fight for our rights, and that's what I will do. Will you? Also, I'd like to take a second now and give a shout out to Nut and Fancy. He started out doing knife and gun reviews, and then gear reviews for like military, police officers, like civilian people who like to backpack and go out in the woods and rough it for a while. A 20-year Air Force veteran. I believe he made it to lieutenant colonel. He's a good man. He's a family man. He's a freedom fighter. He's actually the person I got the term sheepdog from. And he has a bunch of philosophy videos on a lot of stuff. He's really well thought out, and I definitely recommend his page. I mean, he can explain this whole thing better than I can, and he does actually in his video for the greater good. Outlawing Guns is the title of that. I'll post the link. But he's gotten a plethora of other good videos. Close to Engage. Hold on, I did have a list here somewhere. I'll get it later. But yeah, like Close to Engage, Minuteman Prerogative, Sheepdog Concept, just to name a couple. So definitely go check out his philosophy videos. He definitely speaks some truth. He's a truth seeker just like I. So yeah, go check out his page. He's got a lot to say, a lot more to learn. But for now, I'm just trying to get the word out to people. So thank you very much for watching my video. I appreciate it. God bless, and I'll see you on the front lines.